Super duper people, أهلا وسهلا بكم يا عبقرة. Today we are working from test number 4 and inshallah we will have a marvelously beautiful class inshallah. All right guys, so النهارده الكلاس بتاعنا هنحل مع بعض من test 4 module number 2. So تعالوا نبص مع بعض كده يا عبقرة please على الكلام العظيم ده. Today's class inshallah. Today inshallah we will work from test 4 module 2 and we will work on questions 12 to 22 ودول كانوا homework عندنا من الحصة اللي فاتت إن شاء الله. Now زي ما قلنا قبل كده الكلاس بتاعنا هنقسمه نصين، هنحل جزء من الأسئلة الأول and then هنوقف ندردش عن الديجيتال SAT والاستعداد للامتحان وشوية كلام عشان الناس اللي داخله امتحان قريب، والكلام ده مفيد ليكم سواء انتوا داخلين امتحان قريب or not. اوكي، هو مفيد كده كده في كل الحالات. and then إن شاء الله we will move on ونكمل بقية الأسئلة بتاعتنا. alright, so everybody قولوا لي جاهزين ولا لأ، مستعدين ولا لأ. Welcome, super geniuses, to test number 4, module number 2, questions 12 to 22. This is what we will be doing today. Before I begin, I need to ask you 2 very original questions. Are you people alive? Are you people ready? Everybody, please let me know in the chat, in the comments right now. Are you alive? Are you ready? Say, yes, I'm alive. Yes, I'm ready. Please, please, please. Please, 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 everybody confirm. Alive and ready, alive and ready, alive and ready. Yay, alive and ready. All right, guys, let's start with question number 12 from test 4, module 2. So open test 4, module 2. We already finished 1 to 11. Today we should be doing 12 to 22. And let's begin with number 12. My friends, first of all, somebody please tell me, is question number 12 usually a reading question or is it usually a writing question? Now, you need to know that the order of the questions on the test may differ. I mean, they can always put writing before reading if they want to, all right? They probably won't, but they can if they want to. So in all we've done together so far, you guys please tell me, is number 12 reading or writing? It's probably reading, right? The writing questions probably start around question 17, 18, 19, something like that. All right. Okay, guys, let's work. 12. Can you all see number 12? Can you see the smiley face next to number 12? Say yes, please. With that little 1 hair or 2 hairs, 3 hairs. Yes. All right. Let's go. The Young Girl is a 1920 short story by Catherine Mansfield. In the story, the narrator takes an unnamed 17-year-old girl and her younger brother out for a meal. In describing the teenager, Mansfield frequently contrasts the character's pleasant appearance with her unpleasant attitude, as when Mansfield writes of the teenager. Which quotation from The Young Girl, which is the novel, the story, most effectively illustrates the claim? So this is, and basically what quote questions ask me is to complete the sentence right here using a quote from the novel, from the story, okay? A quote that the author wrote or would write. Now, these are probably going to be correct, real quotes from the story. So answer A, B, C, and D, all of these are quotes from the story. So there's not one correct quote and the others are extra information. No, they're all probably in the story, okay? It's something like the if true hack, remember? When we just assume that all the answer choices are right, no extra information at all. So it's the same thing here, no extra information. Got it? Now, the key here, the clue, is to realize that we don't want any quotation. We want a quotation that illustrates, that explains, that shows the claim. So the first thing you need to do is find the claim. All right. Where is the claim? In describing the teenager, Mansfield frequently contrasts the character's pleasant appearance with her unpleasant attitude. So this is his claim. He contrasts the pleasant appearance, so she looks good, her appearance is pleasant, is nice, but her attitude is unpleasant. And contrasts here means there is some kind of comparison, and that this is probably negative. I'm showing the difference, okay? So we go on to the answer choices and divide. I heard her murmur, I can't bear flowers on a table. They had evidently been giving her intense pain, for she positively closed her eyes as I moved them away. While we waited, she took out a little gold powder box with a mirror in the lid, shook the poor little puff as though she loathed it. Her nose. I saw after that she couldn't stand this place a moment longer, and indeed she jumped up and turned away while I went through the vulgar act of paying for the tea. She didn't even take her gloves off. She lowered her eyes and drummed on the table. When a faint violin sounded, she winced and bit her lip again. Silence. Now, remember, we need to use our question keywords, which illustrates the claim. And here we have our keyword skill from the passage that we need to have two things, right? It's like the and skill. Remember and skill, guys? You need to have two things. I'm looking for a contrast between two things. What are the two things? Pleasant appearance and unpleasant attitude. All right? Tell me, guys, what is the right answer? Is it A, B, C, or D? Which is the only answer that has the two things, the pleasant appearance and the unpleasant attitude? I will count till 3, and I need to see your votes. 1, 2, 2.1, 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, 3. All right, come on. What are your answers, guys? Who wants A? Who wants B? Come on, tell me in the chat. Hurry up in the comments. Who wants C? Who wants D? All right. Now, this is actually really, 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 really easy if you know a little hack that we learned in our old SAT practice. We learned that when we're trying to look for something physical and something non-physical in the answer choices, you should always start with the. So let's write this, please. Come on, everybody, write this. Physical / non-physical hack. Physical, non-physical hack. It is always easier to find physical, okay, between brackets, appearance, keywords, than to find, than to find non-physical, between brackets, emotional keywords. I'm going to highlight the important words. Look here. It's always easier to find physical keywords than to find non-physical keywords. Basically, what I mean is, if I'm asking you to go look at the answer choices or go look at the citation and find a word that means that the author is sad, or that the narrator is happy, or that someone is worried, these are all non-physical. These are usually hard to find because you may not know the vocabulary used. You may not understand that this particular word means that he is sad or happy and so on. However, if I ask you to go look for a physical keyword like tall, short, ugly, beautiful, fat, thin, it's usually much easier to find these keywords. All right. So if you're asked to find both, for example, like we are here in this question, it's always easier to look for the physical first. Okay. Now, if you go up here, I'll get this again if you guys need to read it. If you need to write it, I mean, if you look up here, let's just look for the physical keywords. Okay. Physical appearance, pleasant appearance, how she looks. I heard her murmur, I can't bear flowers on the table. They had evidently been giving intense pain, positively closed her eyes. While we waited, she took out, okay, her eyes, this is physical, little gold powder box with a mirror and lid, shook her lovely nose. I saw after that she couldn't stand in place, jumped up and turned away, went through the vulgar act of paying for tea, jumped, maybe that's physical. She didn't even take her gloves off. She lowered her eyes, drummed the table, faint violent sound, bit her lip. So these are the physical traits, the physical characteristics, something physical about the girl. But we want something that is pleasant. Pleasant means nice, beautiful. Here I'm just saying she closed her eyes. I didn't say her eyes were beautiful. Here I said she had a lovely nose. There you go. So pleasant appearance. B. Here I said she jumped up. That doesn't mean she's pretty. She didn't even take her gloves off. She's wearing gloves. Doesn't mean she's pretty. She bit her lip. Everybody has a lip, not particularly pretty or not pretty here. So the only answer is B. It's the only one that has a pleasant appearance. Now I can save myself time by just choosing B without having to look for the unpleasant attitude. Okay, but there should be unpleasant attitude in B for it to be correct. Let's see. While we waited, she took out a little gold powder box with a mirror. Okay? What did she do with that box? She shook the poor little puff as though she loathed it. So she got out a box in front of everybody and she shook the puff. Puff is powder. Okay, probably made a mess. And he said, poor little puff. So he's explaining that it's poor. So it's the poor thing. So she probably used a lot of force, as though she loathed it, as though she hated it. So she's looking at the box. I hate this box. Okay. That's a bad attitude to do in a restaurant in front of people, right? So that's her bad attitude. Okay. If you want to write, come on, give you a couple of seconds here. All right. Let's go to number 13, people. Okay, 13, my dear friends, is a graph question. And remember, when we have graph and a passage, we always try to use the graph first. So anyway, let's take a look. Economic policy uncertainty in the United Kingdom from 2005 to 2010. Right here, I have the years, and right here, I have the uncertainty. Larger value means more uncertainty, okay? Then I have a key with 3 different colors. All of this is usual. Then I have my passage. I will start first, try to use the graph hack. Remember, my friends, graph hack is when we do what? When we check the answer choices for the graph part first, okay? Then we check the passage. All right, let's go. A. Which choice most effectively uses data from the graph to illustrate the claim? Aligned closely with uncertainty about tax and public spending policy in 2005. Okay, wait a minute. Uncertainty. So this is the Y. About tax and public spending policy. Tax and public spending policy is the middle dark gray. So it's the first column. In 2005, so it's this one. 2005, this shade of gray. So it's about 100. So this value is 100. Okay. So I can't do this without reading the passage. Why? Can somebody tell me? Why can't I do this without reading the passage? I should have read the passage first. Why? Come on. We will try to use the graph first. Okay, we'll still use graph hack. But why did I have to read the passage first in this particular question? There's a relation between certain things. There's a keyword here in the question, which is the claim. This is a question keyword skill. Okay, so it's asking me about something that illustrates, that shows the claim. I don't know what the claim is. The claim is in the passage. So I need to read the passage to know what the claim is. All right, let's do this. High levels of public uncertainty about which economic policies a country will adopt can make planning difficult for businesses. But measures of such uncertainty have not tended to be very detailed. Recently, however, economists and somebody analyzed trends in news reports to derive measures not only for general economic policy uncertainty, but also for uncertainty related to specific areas of economic policy. Let's just get the windows down because it's a little bit noisy. All right. So, but also for uncertainty related to specific areas of economic policy, like tax or trade policy. One revelation of her work is that a general measure may not fully reflect uncertainty about specific areas of policy, as in the case of the United Kingdom, where general economic policy uncertainty. All right. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about, in orange, general economic policy uncertainty, which is the black one. So all of the answer choices here should be related to the black. Okay? So black. Okay, the black part of the graph, the black bar of the graph should be A or B or C or D. So they're all related to the black part. Okay, what is the claim? The claim is here. One revelation of her work is that a general measure may not fully reflect uncertainty about specific areas of policies. So the general measure, so this is the general, may not reflect. Okay? So basically, I want the black, which is the general measure, to be different from one of these answer choices. That's what I understood so far. I might be wrong. Okay, let's go and see. So the black aligned closely with uncertainty about tax and policy spending. Okay, let's see. It's 100, but differed from uncertainty about tax and public spending policy in 2009. Tax and public spending policy. So same one, but 2009. So it's this one. All right. So the black aligned means was the same as 100. Let's see. What's the black in 2005? It's very close to 100. Okay, so that could work. But differed from the yellow, which is this one. In 2009, did the black differ from the yellow? Did they differ? No. So differed right here is wrong. But it's wrong what? Graph only. You understand, guys? I didn't have to understand anything here. The second half of answer A is wrong. It says that the black differed from the yellow. And this is our yellow, 2009. It's right here. And the black in 2009 is right here. They are very, very similar. So they didn't differ. No, that's wrong. And it said by a large amount. So that's completely wrong. Okay, let's do B. Was substantially lower. So the black was substantially lower. Substantially means a lot. Than uncertainty about tax. Let's do it in another color, in green. About tax and public spending each year from 2005 to 2010. Okay, tax and public spending, which is now the green, each year from 2005 to 2010. So the black was lower each year. Okay, so here's year one. The black is lower than the green. Here's year two. The black is higher than the green. Year three, the black is higher than the green. So can we say that it was lower each year? Wrong. Just using graph. Okay, I'll explain this question one more time, guys, when I'm done. Okay. C. Reached its highest level. So the black reached its highest level between 2005 and 2010. Let's see. 2005, here is it. Here it is. 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. It reached its highest level in the same year that uncertainty about policy and tax and public spending policy, just a second, guys, trade policy. Okay, so trade policy, here, trade policy, tax and public spending policy, which is this one, reached their lowest levels. So the highest black was with the lowest other two. Okay, where is the highest black here? This is the highest black. In the highest black, are the other two colors the lowest? Are they? When the highest black in 2010, were the other two colors their lowest in all the years? No, they were not. So this again is wrong. So wrong just for graph. So the right answer is D. Okay, let's double check. The black was lower than uncertainty about trade policy in 2005. Okay, here's trade policy, 2005. So it's this one right here. The black was lower than this in 2005. Yes, here's black, here's trade policy. So this is right. It was higher than trade policy 2010. Okay, where's trade policy in 2010? This is trade policy in 2010 right here. Was the black higher? Yes, it was. So the answer is D. All right. So we didn't need to use the passage at all to understand anything. We used only the graph, but we did use the passage at the beginning to understand that we're talking about black and to understand what the claim should have been. All right. Now, this is a hard question. Let me try to go over it really quickly from a blank copy right here. Let's see if I have another copy of test 4. I don't. Okay. See, I can copy, and then I can paste. All right, there you go. Now I have another copy. Let's just call it annotated. And give me a second, guys. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Wake up, computer. Wake up, computer. Okay, let me close this. Give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. OneNote is being weird. Don't sleep, guys. Uh-huh. There you go. No, I don't want this one. I want this one. No, I don't want this one. I want the other one. Don't sleep, everybody. Okay, I'll count till 3. If it doesn't work, I'll do something else. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it was working, then it didn't work. No, God. Okay, guys, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'll just bring the same question again without making another version. All right. All right, let's go over this one more time. So if you look here, guys, very, very basically, here's where we have the problem in this question. Now, the question itself was asking me which choice most effectively uses data from the graph. And all this is fine. And we can just answer it using the graph hack right away. However, it did say to illustrate the claim. So I need to first find out what that claim is. Second, when I read the answer choices, I found out that the first word in each answer choice is a verb. So A is aligned, B was, C is reached. So if there are verbs at the beginning, that means there has to be something before that verb. So I look at the citation at the passage and I find that it's actually a sentence completion question, basically. So I need to understand that we are talking now about general economic policy uncertainty. Here's the nice part. If you don't understand what the claim is, it's fine. You can still answer this question without focusing on what the claim is for now. How? All I needed to know was that whatever I will complete the sentence with is related to general economic policy uncertainty. Okay. What is general economic policy uncertainty in our graph? It's the black. So basically, the question says the black bar, okay, is answer A or B or C or D, okay? So all of them are related to the black bar. So I try using my graph hack first, which basically means just use the graph and ignore the passage for now. So I go to A, for example. What does A read? It reads black bar is aligned closely with, that's what I do. Okay, so aligned closely means very similar, almost the same, with uncertainty about tax and public spending policy in 2005. So I go here. Where is tax and public spending policy? This one is tax and public spending policy, the medium gray, all right, or the dark gray. Good. In 2005. So I take that dark gray color in 2005. Where's the dark gray color in 2005? It's right here. So I'm going to highlight this in green. So this is the bar I'm talking about. Okay, what does the question say? It says that black bar is similar to this green thing. All right, is the black bar here in 2005 similar to the green? Yes, they're similar. So this is correct. But then we have differed from uncertainty about tax and public spending policy, which is the same color, but in 2009. So I go to 2009. Here is my tax and public spending, this dark gray. And remember, I'm comparing everything to the black. Is the black here large amount differed from the color that I have in green? Are these very different? No, they're not. This means answer A is wrong, just using the graph. That's it. And that's all I did for the other answer choices. I compared the black, okay, just the black with every one of these answer choices, just using the graph. And the only one that worked was D. That's it. Okay? You didn't have to understand the claim. You didn't have to understand anything they're talking about. Okay, let me give you just one more example so we're sure that we understand this. Let's take C, for example. Here it says reached. What is reached? It's the black bar, remember? So the black bar reached its highest level between 2005 and 2010. Okay, where is the highest level for the black bar? In all of the years, it's right here. So this is the highest. Okay, good. In the same year, that uncertainty about trade policy. What is trade policy? Light gray. So it's this one right here, same year. And public spending policy, which is the dark gray. So right here, same year. So the black reached its highest level in the same year that these two, okay, reached their lowest levels. All right, in 2010, when black was highest, were these two colors their lowest? No, they were not their lowest. So this is wrong, just using the graph. So C is wrong. That's it. Got it? All right, perfect. So this is number 13. It's quite a tricky question. All right, quite a tricky question. Good. All right. Now we will move on to 14. But before we do so, we, my friends, will take a break. All right. So I will give you guys 5 minutes of break. Then we will return to do the rest of our questions together. Got it, guys? Let's go. All right. Who likes break? Nobody? Okay, 5 minutes break. All right, super people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, my friends, إن شاء الله هنتكلم مع بعض عن الديجيتال SAT علشان عندنا امتحان قريب جدا جدا جدا. وناس كتيرة خايفة من الديجيتال SAT، ناس كتيرة قلقانة من الديجيتال SAT، ناس كتيرة حاسة إن الموضوع صعب. وفي الحقيقة الديجيتال SAT يا حضرات من أحسن امتحانات SAT اللي اتعملت ever. ولو حضراتكم تعرفوا الكوليدج بورد بيغير امتحان SAT كل كام سنة، يعني كل 5 سنين تقريبا كان بيغير الفيرجن بتاع الامتحان. أنا دخلت SAT كطالب سنة 1997 حاجة زي كده. اوكي سو يعني ده من زمان قوي. يعني تقريبا من كام سنة بقى؟ كان تقريبا 30 سنة حاجة كده، صح؟ ايه 30 سنة دي؟ لا 25 سنة. المهم اتس سكيري يعني. اوكي almost يعني 25 سنة. تمام. دخلته كطالب قدكوا كده. وبعد كده درست SAT من سنة 2003. كان في فيرجن لما انا دخلت في 97، كان في فيرجن في 2003، كان في فيرجن تاني اتغير في 2005 2006 حاجه زي كده، في فيرجن تاني اتغير مش عارف 2010 2016. المهم قعد يتغير كل فتره SAT لغايه لما وصلنا للفيرجن الحالي، فيرجن اللي بدأ في 2023 internationally و 2024 في امريكا. And this is what we call the new digital SAT. وفي رأيي الشخصي من خبرتي ده أحسن SAT version so far that I have seen in the past 20 something years. Okay? Now, الديجيتال SAT فيه مميزات كتير وفيه عيوب برضو أكيد، ومش معنى إن هو حلو زي ما أنا بقول إن كل الطلبة هيدخلوا يجيبوا سكور عالي، لأن للأسف ناس كتير قوي بتفتكر امتحان حلو يعني هدخل أجيب سكور عالي. امتحان حلو معناه إنك لو أنت مذاكر كويس هتقدر تجيب سكور عالي، إنما لو أنت مش مذاكر مش هتجيب سكور عالي أكيد. الامتحان الوحش هو الامتحان اللي مهما ذاكرت له تدخل تعكي في الامتحان نفسه وحش، تمام؟ انما الديجيتال SAT حلو جدا جدا. ميزته الكبرى واللي محمها غير التيتشر اللي زيي او الطالب اللي دخل SAT قبل CT و EST، يعني parents مع احترامي ليكم حضراتكم مش هتعرفوا الكلام ده، لان في parents بتعترض على الكلام ده، حضراتكم مش فاهمين النقطه دي، ان في عندنا short passages، ما فيش عندنا حاجه اسمها long passage طويله عباره عن صفحه ولا صفحتين. دي ما بقتش موجوده خلاص في الديجيتال SAT، وده من اهم الحاجات اللي بتخلي الامتحان ده حلو، لان مشكله ACT والEST والSAT القديم، المشكله الكبرى عند كل الطلبه اللي في الوطن العربي هي ان هم ما بيستحملوش يقروا الباسج الطويله، ما بيلحقوش يقروا الباسج الطويله، ولو استحملوا ولو لحقوا ما بيفهموش الباسج الطويله. الامتحان قصيره جدا عليها سؤال واحد فقط، وده فرق كبير قوي قوي. ميزه الديجيتال SAT الثانيه هي البريدكتابيلتي بتاعه الاسئله. عندنا 4 نماذج امتحانات موجودين، تيست 1 و2 و3 و4 كولج بورد اوفيشال تيستس، وفي موديول سهل وموديول صعب، يعني عندنا كذا سؤال، يعني عندنا اكتر من 4 امتحانات، عندنا قول 6 امتحانات بمقدار 6 امتحانات اسئله. الفكره ان الاسئله مكرره كفكره، مكرره كاسلوب، مكرره كطريقه، بحيث ان انا لو طبقت السكيلز والرولز والهاكس بتاعتنا على الاسئله دي وحلتها كويس وفهمتها، غالبا الامتحان اللي جاي هيكون شبههم جدا، هلاقي نفس الحاجات بنفس الترتيب بنفس الافكار، هجيب سكور حلو جدا ان شاء الله، وباذن الله تفرحوني بعد الامتحان اللي جاي. تمام كده؟ يبقى دي مميزات الديجيتال SAT. طيب، اكبر بقى اختلاف في الديجيتال SAT عن اي امتحان تاني اخدناه قبل كده في حياتنا هو ان الديجيتال SAT اسمه adaptive test. طيب يعني ايه adaptive test؟ adaptive معناها متأقلم، معنى كلمة adaptive بالعربي متأقلم، يتأقلم. امتحان الديجيتال SAT بيتأقلم معاكو في الامتحان. فالامتحان مقسوم لنصين، النص الأولاني اسمه موديول 1 والنص الثاني اسمه موديول 2. موديول 1 بيكون مجموعة من الأسئلة لها difficulty ثابتة، فمثلا هيبقى عندك تقريبا 30 سؤال، 10 أسئلة سهلين، 10 أسئلة متوسطين الصعوبة، و10 أسئلة صعبين. حضرتك هتحل بأقصى حاجة عندك، وبعدين الكمبيوتر اللي انت بتحل عليه هيبتدي يفهمك بناء على حلك. لو انت طالب شاطر هيجيب لك النص التاني من الامتحان اللي هو موديول 2 صعب. لو انت طالب متوسط هيجيب لك النص التاني من الامتحان اللي هو اسمه موديول 2 متوسط. لو انت طالب مش شاطر خالص للأسف هيجيب لك موديول 2 سهل. يبقى نص الامتحان الأولاني في شوية أسئلة سهلة، شوية أسئلة ميديم، شوية أسئلة صعب. نص الامتحان التاني هيكون يا إما سهل يا إما متوسط يا إما صعب، بناء على أدائك أنت الشخصي في النص الأولاني. تمام؟ ده معناه ميزة وعيب. الميزة الأول إن الامتحان هيكون مريح نفسيا، لأن حضرتك دايما هتلاقي الأسئلة ملائمة لمستواك، مش هتلاقي أسئلة صعبة جدا 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 طول الامتحان وبتعقد، لا، ده هو هيسهل لك الأسئلة أو يصعبها بناء على أدائك. تمام؟ فدي ميزة كبيرة قوي. طب إيه العيب؟ إنك لو أنت لا قدر الله عكيت الدنيا في موديول 1 علشان كنت سرحان أو نايم أو تعبان أو اللجنة كان فيها دوشة أو أي سبب من الأسباب، يعني أنت كنت مذاكر وشاطر وكل حاجة بس عكيت في موديول 1، عكيت في النص الأولاني من الامتحان، إيه اللي هيحصل لك؟ موديول 2 اللي هيجي لك هيبقى موديول تافه جدا وسهل جدا، ومهما حليت فيه كويس مش هتجيب درجة عالية، لأن الدرجة العالية بتيجي لما تحل أسئلة صعبة. لما تحل أسئلة سهلة بس هتبقى درجة قليلة، لما تحل أسئلة صعبة هتبقى درجة عالية. فاهمين يا حضرات؟ أوحش حاجة ممكن تحصل لك في الامتحان، وبحذركم كل الناس اللي داخلين الامتحان، خد بالك، تركز جدا في موديول 1 وتحاول تحله بتركيز كويس جدا، وتحاول تجيب على قد ما تقدر إجابات صح في موديول 1. عايز تحل موديول 1 كويس جدا، خلاص؟ لأنك لو عكيت في موديول 1، موديول 2 اللي هيجي لك هيبقى سهل جدا، وده معناه انك هتجيب درجة وحشة. فانت لو كنت نايم في موديول 1 وعكيت وبعدين صحيت على موديول 2 بقى وقلت يلا بينا نشتغل، موديول 2 هيبقى سهل جدا، وده معناه ان درجاته هتبقى قليلة قوي بالنسبة لك، فمش هتجيب سكور كويس. انت عايز موديول 2 يبقى صعب، انت عايز تحل كويس قوي في موديول 1 وموديول 2 يجي لك يبقى صعب، ده اللي انت عايزه. خلاص؟ وتعالوا نعمل كده مع بعض، يعني رسمة كده بسيطة أوري حضراتكم أقصد إيه بالكلام ده، لأن الحتة دي مهمة جدا. وأولا محدش فيكم يعرفها، ثانيا محدش تقريبا يعرفها خالص أصلا، يعني أوكي، لأن محدش لسه دخل الامتحان قوي وخد خبرة enough في الكلام ده. دي حاجة يعني بناء على ملاحظة وشوية اتصالات كده مع ناس عملت analysis للامتحانات دي. خلاص؟ الآتي موديول 1. موديول 1 لو أنا حليت فيه كويس، لو أنا عملت فيه excellent، خلاص، أو عملت فيه very good، خلاص، سواء excellent أو very good، مش لازم excellent، بس لو excellent أو very good هيقوم يجي لي module 2 difficult شوية. خلاص؟ module 2 بتاعك هيبقى difficult شوية. لو حليت في module 2 ده excellent، خلاص، أو very good، هتجيب high score. خلاص؟ ماشي، سكور من غير اتش، دي سكول، هتجيب هاي سكور. تمام؟ طيب لو في موديول 2 بقى حليت جود بس، هتجيب ايه؟ هتجيب يعني جود سكور، تسميها ميديوم سكور، سكور مش وحش، سكور ناس كتيره منكم تفرح بيها. تمام؟ مره تانية نبص على الخريطه اللي هي ايه very roughly دي، انا عاملها موديول 1 نص الامتحان الاولاني في الديجيتال اس اي تي، لو حليت فيه ممتاز او حليت فيه كويس قوي، يعني ممكن تبقى غلطت لك فيه 4 5 6 غلطات مش مشكله، هيجي لك موديول 2 الى حد ما صعب او متوسط الصعوبه. لو قفلته او عملت فيه حلو قوي هتجيب سكور عالي جدا ان شاء الله. لو عملت فيه نص نص مش وحش هيجي لك ميديوم سكور. خلاص؟ طيب اما بقى لو موديول 1، ركزوا عشان هي دي هنا اللي فيها التريك، عملت فيه bad، عملت فيه poorly في موديول 1، ساعتها هيجي لك موديول 2 easy. الخدعة بقى ان لو في موديول 2 الايزي ده غالبا يعني لو انت عملت excellent فيه او عملت very good او عملت حتى good، مهما عملت هتجيب low to medium score. فاهمين؟ دي الخدعة. يبقى انت لو عملت وحش في موديول 1، موديول 2 اللي هو السهل ده حتى لو قفلته جبت فيه فول مارك، السكور بتاعك مش هيبقى قد كده برضه. فاهمين؟ يبقى لازم 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 يبقى عندنا هدف كبير، وهو ان هنا في موديول 1 احاول اني اعمل اقصى حاجه عندي، احسن حاجه عندي، ما اغلطش على قد ما اقدر، ولو اغلطت اغلط قليل قوي. ده هيديك فرصه ان موديول 2 يجي لك صعب شويه، مش شرط يبقى صعب قوي بس صعب شويه، ودي حاجه حلوه. لو جالك صعب شويه اعرف ان انت كده ماشي مظبوط. حاول بقى انك تحل فيه ممتاز او فيري جود، ساعتها هتجيب اعلى سكور ممكن. حتى لو عملت فيه نص نص هتجيب سكور برضو مش وحش. اما لو انت عكيت في موديول 1 وجالك موديول 2 سهل قوي، ساعتها مهما عملت السكور بتاعك مش هيكون حلو انف. خلاص؟ طبعا ده مش معناه انا اجي على موديول 2 السهل وخلاص اسيبه فاضي بقى او لا مش مشكله بقى، لا مفيش حاجه اسمها كده. اوكي، لازم تحاول تعمل اقصى حاجه عندك برضو انها هتفرق. يعني بدل ما تجيب 500 هتجيب 520 مثلا. اوكي، بدل ما اجيب 600 هجيب 610، هتفرق معاك. انما اللي بقوله انه مش هيفرق معاك 200 درجه مثلا طالما موديول 1 كان وحش. alright. now الاكتشوال سكورز بقى كام؟ دي هنسيبها شويه ونبقى نعمل لها ممكن فيديو مخصوص ولا حاجه، لان ببساطه لازم ندخل على البلو بوك اللي هو الاب اللي هتمتحنوا عليه ونجرب different تايمز ان احنا نغلط وبتاع ونحسب السكورز، ودي هتاخد مننا وقت كتير ان انا اوريها لكم. انما بالعربي كده لو عملت حلو في موديول 1 حاول تعمل as best as possible في موديول 2، كل حاجه بقت حلوه. عكيت في موديول 1 ما قدامكش غير انك تعمل كويس في موديول 2، بس اعرف انك كده غالبا السكور بتاعك مش هيبقى قد كده. alright. طيب هل الكلام ده في الانجليش بس ولا في الانجليش والماث؟ لا، ده في الانجليش والماث طبعا الاثنين. الانجليش له 2 موديولز والماث له 2 موديولز بنفس النظام بالظبط. ماشي؟ طيب موضوع الادابتيف تيست ده ميزه على فكره تاني، والله ميزه. يعني انت لو بس فهمت اللي انا بقوله ده وعملت كويس في موديول 1 انت كده خلاص ان شاء الله جايب سكور حلو باذن الله، وهنجرب ونشوف مع بعض. طيب نقطه تانية مهمه جدا في حته الادابتيف تيست ده، معنى ان هو ادابتيف تيست في ميزه كبيره جدا جدا جدا. كانت من المشاكل اللي كانت عامله يعني كلكيعه كبيره كده للناس في مصر وفي الوطن العربي، موضوع الغش والتسريب. الاسي تي الجديد ده ما ينفعش تغش فيه وما ينفعش يتسرب، لان حتى موديول 1 ترتيب الاسئله ويمكن actual questions نفسها تكون مختلفه ما بينك وما بين زميلك اللي قاعد جنبك، تخيل. وموديول 2 كمان هيتغير من طالب لطالب بناء على مستواه هو، يعني اسئله جديده لكل واحد فيكم، فمستحيل انك تغش، مستحيل ان حد يعرف الاسئله قبل الامتحان. فده هيخلي الموضوع فير جدا ان شاء الله. اللي داخل الامتحان ياخد باله من بعض النقط بسرعه. اول حاجه ان مسموح ليك تجيب الجهاز بتاعك انت، اوكي، مسموح تجيب معاك الجهاز بتاعك انت تمتحن عليه، كمبيوتر بتاعك او تابلت بتاعك، او تاخد جهاز من المدرسه. رايي الشخصي خلي معاك جهازك احتياطي، بس اطلب انك انت تاخد جهاز المدرسه مثلا، ولو ما كانش شغال تاخد بتاعك، يعني حاول انك انت تبقى عندك باك اب. ولكن اهم حاجه، لان الموضوع لسه جديد في بعض المدارس، تتفق مع المدرسه الاول قبل ما تروح، شوف التست سنتر بتاعك، كلمهم في التليفون، عدي عليهم قبل الامتحان، دردش معاهم وافهم منهم ينفع اجيب الجهاز بتاعي وما استعملوش ولا كده هتقولوا ان انا بغش؟ طب الجهاز اللي عندكم انتوا ينفع ابص عليه اشوف شكله ايه؟ طب هل هو لو مش شغال ينفع افتح الجهاز بتاعي ولا لا؟ انسوع. وعلى جهازك انت هتعمل اكونت على كولج بورد، وهتنزل البلو بوك اب على الديفايس بتاعك علشان تبراكتس في البيت اولا، وثانيا عشان يوم الامتحان لازم تفتح الاب ده وتمتحن عليه. خلاص. الطلبه اللي معانا في ليفل اكس وان شاء الله حتى اللي معانا في ليفل 1 و2 و3 و4 الشهر الجاي ده، هوريكم البلو بوك اب ده شكله ايه وهنحل منه وهنفهم كل الكلام ده مع بعض باذن الله. alright. تمام. عندي couple of questions بسرعه. سؤال بيقول مستر كريم احنا حلينا معاك في ليفل 1 وفي حصص كتير اسئله من الديجيتال اس اي تي، هل اللي احنا حليناه ده كان ايزي كويستشنز ولا هارد ولا ميديوم؟ وي هاد ميكس، كنا بنعمل موديول 1 اللي هو كان فيه شويه ايزي وشويه ميديوم وشويه هارد، وكنا بنعمل موديول 2 اللي هو بيبقى فيه هاردر كويستشنز. والنهارده هنحل مع بعض شويه اسئله هارد من موديول 2 دلوقتي ان شاء الله. اوكي سو ان اور كلاسز we're doing كله، الايزي والميديوم والهارد زي الامتحان بالظبط. اوكي كل موديول مدته بتكون قد ايه؟ تقريبا نص ساعه، الامتحان كله على بعضه تقريبا ساعتين. alright. هل محتاجين انترنت علشان نمتحن؟ طبعا لازم يكون في انترنت علشان تلوج ان للامتحان بتاعك، بس لو الانترنت قطع وانت في وسط الامتحان مفيش مشكله، بتكمل عادي خالص، فدونت worry about موضوع الانترنت ده ان شاء الله. alright يا حضرات. okay so we have some practice to do now. هنحل مع بعض مع level X بتاعنا، وهم مشكورين الطلبه بتوعنا بتوع level X، يعني سمحوا لنا ان احنا نعزم حضراتكم معانا وتحلوا معانا كام سؤال من homework كان عندنا في تيست 4 official digital SAT module number 2. now اللي معاه الامتحان يفولو اب معانا، اللي معهوش يتابع معانا على السكرين and we can put اللينك لتست 4 super assistant can put it for those who don't have it. okay now في ناس قلقانه من موضوع الانترنت. of course التست سنتر هيبقى فيه الانترنت وكل حاجه، والكولج بورد عامله ابروفل ليها ومجربين وكله. don't worry about الحاجات دي، just study. ما حدش يقلق من الجهاز ومن المراقبين ومن الانترنت. يا شباب ذاكروا، كفايه اللي بتعملوه في الاي اس تي، مش عايزين نتكلم. عندنا على فكره اي اس تي لايف انتنسيف كمان شويه على البيج بتاعنا، لو تحبوا تفضلوا قاعدين معانا كمان نص ساعه، ساعه الا ربع كده. اوكي يا شباب ناس كتيره جدا من الطلبه بيغلطوا غلطه كبيره جدا في دي اس تي، ان هم يقعدوا يركزوا الامتحان اصله وحش، اصل الامتحان فيه غلطات، اصل المراقبه ما اعرفش مالها، اصل الانترنت بيقطع، اصل الجو حر، اصل الكرسي مريح، اصل الكرسي متعب، ومش بيذاكروا. فاكرين انك انت لما تقعد تنتقد الاي اس تي هتجيب سكور. ذاكر ومالكش دعوه بحاجات الانترنت والكلام ده. يلا اوكي يا شباب، افتحوا معايا official SAT test 4 digital SAT test 4 على module number 2 please. Okay, let me just open my version here. وهنبتدي من question number 14. And thank you level X super geniuses for allowing us ان احنا نعزم a few people to يشوفوكوا وانتوا بتحلوا، ما تكسفونيش بقى. وروني الشطارة. ماشي، وروني الشطارة دي هيكسفوني أكيد. Okay, super assistant put it على live stream please, not في الزوم. All right guys, so let's go and احنا بنحل بالانجلش. Okay, so ركزوا معايا، بنحل بالانجلش. Ready, steady, and number 14, go. All right, super geniuses, we are back and now we have question number 14. So let's work on question 14. And this, my friends, is still a reading question. Now, remember, people, on the digital SAT, we have mainly in English 3 types of questions. We have something we call sentence completion. And these are the first set of questions, 6 or 7 questions or something in the module. Then we have reading questions, which is like the one we're doing right now. Then we have what we call writing questions. And this is how each module is usually designed. A set of sentence completion questions, usually about 6 or 7 questions, then some reading questions, about 13 questions or so. And then we have some writing questions, about 12, 13 questions or so. All right, this is usually what we have on our test. Now, remember, the last couple of questions on the test are usually what we call list questions. These are new, unique to the digital SAT. Super easy. A lot of people think they're hard. They are actually so easy because we have certain skills and hacks that we use to answer them. I need to also remind you of something that is so important because I get this question so much. My friends, our skills and hacks work, the skills and hacks for the old SAT and the new SAT. I designed them so that they would apply to both. So when we prepare for the new digital SAT, of course we do new digital SAT practice right now, but we also practice using old SAT questions because both are written by the College Board. Both are testing the same things. They may look different, but the new digital SAT questions, when they write these questions, when they make them up, they're actually using the same skills, the same hacks, the same tricks, the same methods from the old SAT. So it's really smart to practice using both. Okay, this way you will have a unique advantage because most students will only practice for the digital SAT using digital SAT material, but we're smart. We use the new digital SAT material, of course, we finish it all up, but we also practice using the old SAT, which people will ignore and will be a source for the test writers to use in writing their new questions. So keep this in mind, guys. All right. Okay, we do have an intensive course for people who are not in our course already, who would like to join our digital SAT intensive. So if you want information about that, you guys send me a message. But for students who are already with us in our course, you get the intensive for free. Got it? So if you'd like to join our intensive course, if you're not in our course or if somebody you know wants to, they can do so by sending us a message. All right, guys, let's start. Number 14, people. First thing on the digital SAT, we always check the question first. So the question says, which finding from the student's study, so we're looking for a finding from the study, if true, so this is an if true question, would most strongly support Tannen's hypothesis. So here we have two things to learn that are really important. And let me just zoom in a bit so that you can understand this. First of all, in this question, we have two little tricks. The first trick is that this type of question is what we call an if-true question. Tell me, people, geniuses, what do we do when we have an if-true question? We do not use which skill? Come on. Come on, guys. Yes, genius. We do not use extra information skill. So we have a very important skill that says if you have extra information in the answer choice, information that is not in the passage, it's wrong. But if you have an if-true question like this one, you should assume that all the answer choices are correct factually. There is no extra information. They could all be correct, okay? So what do we use in order to answer such a question? We use something we call, that's not what we call it. We call it question keyword skill. Question keyword skill says, find keywords, important words from the question itself. Then use these keywords to know what you're looking for in the citation and to know what you're looking for in the answer choice. Once you do that, it is super easy. All right, let's take a look. So which finding from the student study? So these answer choices are the findings because it says which finding. All right, so answer A, B, C, and D are our findings. Which one of these, if true, so they're all true for now, would most strongly support Tannen's hypothesis? These are my question keywords. Support, so the same, positive, strengthen, Tannen's hypothesis. So all I need to do now is go back and find Tannen's hypothesis. All right, let's read. Linguist Deborah Tannen has cautioned against framing contentious issues in terms of two highly competitive perspectives, such as pro versus con. According to Tannen, this debate-driven approach can strip issues of their complexity, and when used in front of an audience can be less informative than the presentation of multiple perspectives in a non-competitive format. To test Tannen's hypothesis. All right, so where is Tannen's hypothesis? It's the part before this, because now I'm going to tell you how to test it. All right, so what is her hypothesis? That we should not, cautioned against, frame contentious issues, which I don't know what it means on the test. I'm just assuming that you don't know what it means, in terms of two highly competitive perspectives, such as pro versus con. So we should not do that, okay? Let's take a look at the answer choices, guys, really quickly. All right, let's read the rest first. Okay. To test Tannen's hypothesis, students conducted a study in which they showed participants one of three different versions of local news commentary about the same issue. Each version featured a debate between two commentators with opposing views, a panel of three commentators with various views, or a single commentator. So we have three different things. One had a debate between two commentators with opposing views. The other had a panel of three commentators with various views, and the third had a single commentator. Now, what is the hypothesis, guys? The hypothesis is you should not, cautioned against, two highly competitive perspectives. So two opposite perspectives is bad. This is the hypothesis. Which one of these answers strengthens, illustrates, shows, supports this hypothesis? Let's go. A. On average, participants perceived commentators in the debate as more knowledgeable than commentators in the panel. Does this say anything about the two? No, because we want to say that two is bad. So it doesn't say anything about having two different opinions. All right. It also says that commentators in the debate were more knowledgeable than commentators in the panel. So it's talking about them being more knowledgeable. Wait a minute. It actually did say something about two. So here is where we have our passage keywords. So I ignored this part, waiting for you guys to tell me. Where is our keyword here? Look, guys, our keyword here is that we have something called debate. And debate is when you have two people. This is part of our SAT vocabulary. So debate, two people. Then we have in green, panel, which means a group, three commentators. So in answer A, it's actually saying that the ones in the debate were more knowledgeable than the panel. This means the ones in the debate, which are the two people, were better than the panel, which had three people. Answer A is wrong. It actually uses one of our skills called what? Come on, guys, tell me in the chat. Yay, genius. This is what we call contradiction skill. This is the opposite of what we want. What we want is to support Tannen's hypothesis. And her hypothesis is that the 2 is bad. Answer A says that 2 is better than 3. So that's wrong. Okay, B. On average, participants perceived commentators in the panel. So the panel is what? Is the 3, remember? As more knowledgeable. Okay, so this is the good answer, right? This is the right answer. Than the single. So 3 is better than 1. Wrong. Why? What is my hypothesis? That 2 is bad, right? 2 perspectives is bad. Remember, guys? So answer B doesn't say anything about 2, so it's wrong. All right. I'll give you a couple of seconds here. Look at answer C and D. Tell me, what do you think? Is C better or D? Come on. I'll count till 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Let's take a look. All right. So I have C's and I have D's. Okay, let's see. C. On average, participants who watched the panel is what? 3, right? Correctly answered more questions about the issue than those who watched the debate. So 3 is better than 2, okay? Or the single. So 3 is better than 2 and it's better than 1 as well. But 3 is better than 2. And this is what we want. We want to say that 2 is bad. So 3 is better than 2. All right, very good. D. On average, participants who watched the single commentator, so 1, correctly answered more questions about the issue than those who watched the debate. So 1 is better than 2. Ooh. So also D says that 2 is bad. Why do you think? Should it be C or D? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Come on. All right. Now, you're all wrong. Why are you wrong? I didn't say anything. You're wrong because you are looking at the answer choices. And the answer is not here. The answer is in the question keywords. So here I'm saying 3 is better than 2. Here I'm saying 1 is better than 2. Okay, what is the question keyword? What does the question want? It wants to support Tannen's hypothesis. So let's go and see what Tannen's hypothesis is. Come on. She said that framing contentious issues in terms of 2 highly competitive perspectives, such as pro versus con, is bad. Let's continue. This debate-driven approach can strip issues of their complexity and when used in front of an audience can be less informative than the presentation of multiple perspectives. So what does Tannen think? Tannen thinks 2 is worse than what? Than 3, and is worse than 4, is worse than 5. So she doesn't just think that 2 is bad. She thinks that 2 is bad and that we need more than 2. So the answer has to be C. 1 here is not what she wants. All right. So she wanted to say that 3 is better than 2. Now, did I actually explain? I could have explained, by the way, it would have been a very easy question, but I didn't explain. And this is a hard question. This is one of the really hard questions on the test. But if you just go back, use your question keywords, look at the keywords in the passage carefully, you realize that the hypothesis is that 2 is bad and what is better is more than 2. So 3 is better than 2, not 2 is better that 1 is better than 2. Okay, got it. All right. Now, here we have a little trick that we use frequently on the SAT, ACT, EST, and everything. And this is that if you really focus, you'll find that question, the answer A said that 2 is better than 3. Answer C said that 3 is better than 2. And this is what we call opposite answer choices. So there's a relationship between A and C. They're both opposite. They're both talking about 2 and 3, but they're flipping the relationship. And when I have 2 opposite answer choices, one of them is the right one right away. So I could have just went and looked at A, C, realized one of them is the better one, looked up the citation, chose the right one right away. All right. Now, if you're joining us and you haven't learned all these skills with us before, I apologize if it looks hard. This is actually very simple and very straightforward. We're applying exactly what we learned. Okay, and that's some of what we also discuss in our intensive course as well. All right, number 15. Come on, guys, let's go, go, go. King Lear is a circa 1606 play by William Shakespeare. In the play, the character of King Lear attempts to test his 3 daughters' devotion to him. He later expresses regret for his actions, as is evident when he. Which choice most effectively uses a quotation? And this is what we call a quote question on the digital SAT. What is a quote question? Basically, answer A, B, C, and D are all true, real quotes, so no extra information, okay, from King Lear. The point is, which one of these quotations, look at the question keywords, which one of these quotations does what? Illustrate the claim. Again, so we need to go up, find the claim. Where's the claim? Here's the claim. He later expresses regret for his actions, as is evident. So where's the evidence that he regrets his actions? A, B, C, or D. So all we're doing now, we're not trying to understand anything. We're not trying to say, oh, King Lear, I never read that before. How am I going to answer the question? We just want to look for one of those quotes, A, B, C, or D, that shows, that proves that King Lear expresses regret for his actions. All right, let's go. Now, King Lear says of himself, I am a man more sinned against than sinning. Says during a growing storm, this tempest will not give me leave to ponder on things would hurt me more. Says to himself while striking his head, beat at this gate that let thy folly in and thy dear judgment out. D says of himself, I will do such things, what they are yet I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth. Now, really, 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 really important, guys. This is a hard question. So we've done easier questions in module 1. So if anybody thinks that this is how the test is, no, this is a hard question. All right. Let's see. Can we use a few skills or hacks here? Yes. Answer A says of himself. Answer B says during a storm. Answer C says to himself. Answer D says of himself. Now, this guy is expressing regret for his actions. This is something we call personal skill. So if you're going to be regretting your actions, you will be talking about yourself, right? So the answer is going to be this one. Is not going to be this one, okay? Because that's the one that doesn't says of himself. Okay, answer A. He says, I am a man more sinned against than sinning. So he's saying that he is bad. That's what I understood. I am a man more sin. So it's something bad. Okay. C says to himself while striking his head. Ooh, wait a minute. I want someone who's expressing regret. Will he just say that I am bad? I am sinned? Maybe. How about C? I don't understand what he means by beat at this gate that let thy folly in and thy dear judgment out. I don't understand. But what I do understand is he's striking his head. And when do we strike our heads? When we feel regret. And this is something we learned with in our classes in level X, something we call physical keywords. Remember, guys, it's always easier to find clues from physical rather than emotional keywords. So I don't understand the words he's saying, but I understand that he's banging his head. He's striking his head. So that's regret. D says of himself, I will do such things, What they are yet, I know not, but they shall be the tares of the earth. This has future, something we call time skill. Now, I'm showing you how to answer very difficult questions easily using our skills. So I don't understand D, but I do understand that he's talking about will in the future. Now, if you regret something, do you talk about this thing in the past or in the future? In the past, or in the present at least, but not in the future. So D is wrong. C is the best answer, in fact. All right. So it's a little bit hard, right? Okay. Who thinks this is a hard question? Okay. Very good. Yes. Okay. So it is tricky. Number 16. Many of William Shakespeare's tragedies address broad themes that still appeal to today's audiences. For instance, Romeo and Juliet, which is set in the Italy of Shakespeare's time, tackles the themes of parents versus children and love versus hate, and the play continues to be read and produced widely around the world. But understanding Shakespeare's so-called history plays can require a knowledge of several centuries of English history. Consequently, now complete the text. Consequently, this is a transition keyword. What does it mean, guys? Come on, what does consequently mean? Good job. That we have a cause and effect as a result. All right, very good. Now, what are my keywords here in the passage itself? My keywords here are history, Romeo and Juliet, history, Shakespeare history plays, love versus hate, parents versus children. This is what I'm looking for, but I want a cause and effect. So this is the cause. What is the effect? What is the as a result after consequently? Okay, let's see. Many theater goers and readers today are likely to find Shakespeare's history plays less engaging than the tragedies. Some of Shakespeare's tragedies are more relevant to today's audiences than 20th century plays. Romeo and Juliet is the most thematically accessible of all of Shakespeare's tragedies. Experts in English history tend to prefer Shakespeare's history plays to his other works. All right, we can actually answer this hard question really easily using some of our skills and some of our hacks. And I need you guys to focus with me for a bit because this is difficult. All right, everybody, focus, please. Now, can we all agree that this question is a hard question? It's hard, okay? It's talking about Shakespeare. It's talking about things I don't really understand. The answer choices are all similar. It looks pretty hard. And this is what hard questions on the digital SAT look like. These are like the hardest questions you will find. However, if you know what to do, if you know the skills, the hacks, the right ways of thinking, you can answer such questions easily. Let me show you how such a question, a hard question, can actually be answered pretty simply. Let's go back to this question. Look, my friends. Answer A, when I analyze it, talks about readers today, theater goers today. Answer B talks about audiences today. Answer C doesn't talk about today. Answer D doesn't talk about today. This is what we call time skill, where we focus on any time found in the answer choices. Also, we have something called skill 15, which is similar answer choices skill. A and B are similar in that they are talking about audiences today. Well, let's look back at the passage, guys, and see what is happening here. It says, many of William Shakespeare's tragedies address broad themes and still appeal to today's audiences. For instance, Romeo and Juliet, which is set in the Italy of Shakespeare's time, tackles the themes of parents versus children, love versus hate, and the play continues to be read and produced around the world. So the first part is talking about today. But understanding Shakespeare's history plays can require a knowledge of several centuries. So consequently, here I'm doing a contrast between today and history. These are my keywords. Answer A says what? Many theater goers and readers today are likely to find Shakespeare's history plays less engaging. That is true. Why? That's what I just said up here. They like the tragedies today, like Romeo and Juliet, okay? But history, but is hard. So tragedies today is positive, history is negative, and that is answer A. Now let's look at B. Some of Shakespeare's tragedies are more relevant to today's audiences. Yes, that's very good. Than what? 20th century plays. This is called extra information. We're not talking about 20th century plays at all. We're talking about Shakespeare's tragedies and Shakespeare's history plays. C. Romeo and Juliet is the most thematically accessible of all of Shakespeare's tragedies. I love this. Why is C wrong? Come on. My geniuses, tell me, my students, come on. C has 2 mistakes. Come on, 2 mistakes. What are they? Who can do this for me? 2 mistakes. We have 2 mistakes. Come on, in the chat. All right, I got one, Patmala, which is good, but that's not what I want. It is good, but I'm talking about another 2. Okay, very good. What else? Yes, Romeo and Juliet is actually a part-whole skill because Romeo and Juliet is just an example given up here. The main idea of this is not Romeo and Juliet. The main idea is today's tragedy still live till today. Shakespeare's tragedies still live till today, but Shakespeare's history is hard. So Romeo and Juliet is just an example. It's just a part. And the other one, which is so easy, is most thematically is a 2 extreme skill keyword. It's saying that Romeo and Juliet is the most accessible of all of the tragedies. Nobody said it's the best one, the most accessible. It was just an example given here. So this is too extreme. D. Experts in English history tend to prefer Shakespeare's history plays to his other works. First of all, preferring history to other works is a contradiction because the passage was talking about history being harder than tragedies. Second of all, experts in English history is what we call extra people. We weren't talking about any experts in history. We're talking about audiences, about normal, regular people. Got it? So a very hard question answered pretty easily using our skills. All right, let's go to number 17. Come on, guys, hurry, hurry, hurry. This is all very hard today, okay? We're doing very hard questions. You'll be amazed how easy the easy questions are. So on the digital SAT, easy questions are really easy. Hard questions are really hard. Number 17, come on. It's another complete, okay? Ancestral Puebloans, the civilization from which present-day Pueblo tribes descended, emerged as early as 1500 BCE in an area of what is now the southwestern United States and dispersed suddenly in the late 1200s CE. Abandoning established villages with systems for farming crops and turkeys, recent analysis comparing turkey remains at Mesa Verde, one such village in southern Colorado, to samples from modern turkey populations in the Rio Grande Valley of north-central New Mexico, determined that the latter birds descended in part from turkeys cultivated at Mesa Verde, with shared genetic markers appearing only after 1280. Thus, again, another transition. So this means cause and effect means that we have a reason, all right? As a result, researchers concluded that. So basically, whatever we have here should be the effect of the reason, which is what will be before this part. All right, understood? So what we have first is the reason. Thus, therefore, the result. Okay, let's see. Conditions of the terrains in the Rio Grande Valley and Mesa Verde had greater similarities in the past than they do today. Some ancestral Puebloans migrated to the Rio Grande Valley in the late 1200s and carried farming practices with them. Indigenous peoples living in the Rio Grande Valley primarily planted crops and did not cultivate turkeys before 1280. The ancestral Puebloans of Mesa Verde likely adopted the farming practices of indigenous peoples living in other regions. Okay, now this is really, really, really hard. Okay, really hard. Can you eliminate 1 or 2 answers? Can you start by using one of our skills? Yes, you can. First skill we can use is people skill. Look, guys, can you find any people in answer A? Conditions of the terrains in the Rio Grande Valley and Mesa Verde had greater similarities in the past than they do today. Does A have any people? No. Let's go to B. Some ancestral Puebloans, these are people, migrated to the Rio Grande Valley. Okay, let's go to C. Indigenous peoples living in the Rio Grande Valley primarily planted crops. D. The ancestral Puebloans of Mesa Verde likely adopted farming practices of indigenous peoples living in other regions. Okay. Can I say that answer A is probably wrong because it's not talking about people? Answer B and D are similar because both of them talk about ancestral Puebloans. Answer C and D are similar because they're both talking about indigenous people. Okay, maybe. Now let's go up. Were we talking about people or not? Ancestral Puebloans, the civilization from which present-day Pueblo tribes descended, emerged as early as 1500 BC, what is now southwestern United States. They dispersed in 1200 CE, abandoning established villages with systems for farming crops. Recent analysis comparing Turkey remains one such village to samples. Guys, did you just realize that we are talking about ancestral Puebloans and that we're not talking about indigenous people living in the Rio Grande? And if so, then the only answer that works is the one that has people, which are our ancestral Puebloans. And the answer is in fact B. And can it be that simple? Yes. Should I have understood the passage and understood the answer choices? Yes, sure. Do I have time to? No. Can I check B? Maybe that's a good thing, right? So I used people skill. I eliminated A. I found people in B, C, and D. I went up to the citation and I found that in the citation, they were talking about ancestral Puebloans only. The only answer that only talks about ancestral Puebloans is B. So I can make a guess and say that B is probably the right answer. Want to double check? Let's check the information in B. So some ancestral Puebloans migrated to the Rio Grande Valley in the late 1200 CE. Okay, so right here it says that these guys dispersed suddenly in the late 1200s. So they went somewhere in the late 1200s. All right. Abandoning established villages with systems for farming crops and turkeys. All right. Recent analysis comparing turkey remains at Mesa Verde, one such village in southern Colorado, to samples from modern turkey populations in the Rio Grande Valley show that they have the same turkey, shared genetic markers, which means that these people left their homes and migrated to the Rio Grande Valley in the late 1200s when they migrated, and they took their farming practices with them. That's why they have the same turkeys. So B actually makes perfect sense. Now, let's say you check B and you find it's completely wrong. Then your assumption is wrong. You need to go guess, use something else, use another skill perhaps. But this is a really hard question that I answered really simply. All right, number 18, guys, come on. We're almost done with reading. This takes a lot of time. Writing is much easier. One challenge when researching whether holding elected office changes a person's behavior is the problem of ensuring that the experiment has an appropriate control group. To reveal the effect of holding office, researchers must compare people who hold elected office with people who do not hold office, but who are otherwise similar to the office holders. Since researchers are unable to control which politicians win elections, they therefore, so again, we have this reason part. So this is the reason, and after that, we have the effect or the result. Okay? They therefore, what do? They struggle to find valid data about the behavior of politicians who do not currently hold office. They can only conduct valid studies with people who have previously held office rather than people who presently hold office. Should select a control group of people who differ from office holders in several significant ways, will find it difficult to identify a group of people who can function as an appropriate control group for their studies. All right, question 18 is hard. Now, let's look really closely. What's the difference between each one of these answer choices? I didn't understand anything up here. A, it says that they, the researchers, okay, therefore struggle to find valid data about the behavior of politicians who do not currently hold office. I think I may have found a little hack that can save me. Look here. If you look up here, what does it say? Researchers must compare people who hold elected office with people who do not hold office, but who are otherwise similar to the office holders. Since researchers are unable to control which politicians, so A is actually repeated. I already said that they struggle to find data about the behavior of politicians who do not currently hold office. Okay? They don't know this. It's already here. I already said that. So I'm repeating myself. And the reason and the effect can't be the same. B, can only conduct valid studies with people who have previously held office rather than people who presently hold office. Okay, what's the problem? The problem is that they need to compare people who hold office with people who do not hold office. Okay, so nobody talked about previously hold office. So I can say that this is time in the past and it's extra. We're talking about people who hold office, means current politicians, and people who are not politicians. Nobody talked about people who used to be politicians. C, should select a control group of people who differ from office holders. Wait a minute. Here it says people who are similar to office holders. And here I'm saying differ from office holders. This is actually a contradiction. This is the opposite of what I'm talking about. The answer that only works here is D. Let's double check. Now, these researchers will find it difficult to identify a group of people who can function as an appropriate control group for their studies. Why? Because they need to find someone who does not hold office, who is similar to the office holders. They can't control it, so it's hard to find these people. Therefore, they can't make a control group. That's the one we want. And that's a really hard question. Again, okay? We do have something called control hack that we use for science and social sciences questions. I urge you to look it up on YouTube or Facebook. It's really important. All right. Okay. We're almost done, guys. Today, we are still working on the digital SAT right here, but we have writing, and writing is much faster. So we're going to do numbers 19, 20, 21, and 22, then we're done. All right, let's go really quickly. This is writing. How do we know that we have a writing question on the digital SAT? All writing questions will have this part in the question. Okay, so we know this is a writing question right away. Really quickly, look here, please, and tell me, what do you think this question is? What type of question in writing? It's obviously a punctuation question, right? Because all of the words are the same, pretty much. So it's a punctuation question. Let's take a look. In his groundbreaking book, Bengali Harlem and the Lost Histories of South Asian America, Vivek Bald uses newspaper articles, census records, ship's logs, and memories to tell the stories with an apostrophe or the stories plural. The guy will tell the stories of. Can we have an apostrophe S plus of? Of course not. We have an important hack here. Apostrophe S plus of is almost always wrong. There's a very little exception, and it doesn't apply here. So the guy is telling the stories of someone. So stories has to be a plural word. So can be this one, can be this one, can be this one. The answer is C. How easy is that? So just using one little hack, we were able to answer 19C really quickly. All right. Number 20. Come on. In our two major series, and look at the answers, all have of, so this is another punctuation question. In her two major series, Memory Test and Autobiography, painter Howardina Pindle explored themes of healing, comma, self-discovery, comma, and. Okay, so we have something we call three-part parallelism. Healing is number one, then we have a comma. Self-discovery, number two, then we have comma and number three, memory. And when you have these three, that's the only commas you need. So we just need an of without any other punctuation. So comma here is wrong, dash is wrong, colon is wrong. Okay, and this is what we call preposition plus its word hack. Remember, guys, when we have a preposition followed by its word, the word that's continuing the preposition here in the middle. Oh, excuse me. No punctuation. The only case where you would have punctuation after the preposition is if you have an appositive. All right. Losing my voice here. 21. Both this person, an Indian American, and this person, an African American, grew up frustrated by the lack of diverse characters in books for young people. In 2011, these two writers joined forces to found Cake Literary, a book packaging company. Specializes. Okay, can I say company? Then specializing right away? Or comma, specializing? No. Yes, I can. So you can say a company specializing. But here I don't have specializing, I have specializes. And remember, if it's not ing, then we need to have what? A which or that. So this is wrong. This is wrong. Okay, one more time. So if I say company, specializing, this is right. But if I say company, specializes, can't write specializes, specializes, then here I need to have something in between. This something is either going to be which or that. Got it, guys? So it has to be B or D. Okay. When we have which, we have a comma before which. When we have that, do we have a comma before that? No, we don't. So the answer is B, because comma, that is wrong. Okay, easy peasy. Number 22, guys, last question of the day. A study led by scientist Rebecca Kirby at the University of Wisconsin. Okay, wait a minute. Somebody's asking me something with 21. Somebody's saying there's a comma here. Yes, this is a complete sentence, guys. In 2011, these two writers joined forces to found Cake Literary. This is a complete sentence. Comma, incomplete sentence. So this comma is not in a positive. All right, let's go. 22, last one. A study by scientist Rebecca Kirby at the University of Wisconsin, Madison, found that black bears, yay, Wisconsin-Madison, that eat human food before hibernation have increased levels of a rare carbon isotope. What is this carbon isotope called? Comma. So I have to put the name of the carbon isotope. Then what do I put? Another comma. This is a typical appositive question. How did I know? Because here it says a rare carbon isotope. I didn't tell you its name. Then all of the answer choices have the name. So since I say something without saying the name, then I put the name, I have to have two commas. So there has to be a comma at the end. Which of these answer choices has a comma at the end? Only C and D. So A and B are wrong. All right? Yes, because this is the first time we mentioned it. Excellent, guys. Now, should I put a comma, carbon 13, comma, and then this symbol, and then the other comma? Or here, the first comma is here. This is already included. It's this comma. All right? It's this one right here. Or should I put between parentheses right away? Is it C or D? What do you think? Come on, hurry up. It is D. Perfect. Okay? So I don't say, for example, Jim, my friend, this is right. I can't say Jim. I can say actually Jim, my friend, like this. That is right. But what I can do is say Jim, comma, and then parentheses, and then comma. That's wrong. So you can't have a comma and brackets and parentheses together. Doesn't work. So D is the right answer. Super easy, guys. All right. So do you agree that writing was super easy today? Do you agree that writing was super easy? Yes, you do. All right. Do you agree that reading was super hard? Yes, you do, because it was module 2, the hardest questions on the test in reading, the last questions of reading. So I'm glad we did this hard reading practice together, and I'm also glad we did easy peasy writing practice together. All right, geniuses? Now, till I see you next time, I want you to stay geniuses. Now, for level Xers who are with us in our course, I want you guys to please prepare for me for next class, questions 23 to 33. So your homework is test 4, module 2, questions 23 to 33, geniuses. Got it?